Alright, what is going on guys? It's Tazz here and welcome back to the channel. Now today we've got for you guys is another Flash video. Earlier today, thanks to Spoiler TV, we now know the titles for the first 6 episodes of Season 5 of The Flash. The first 2 episode titles were known for a while, but the rest are brand new info. And all of these titles are subject to change before the final release of the episode, as that has happened before. So what I want to do with this video is go over all of the titles and speculate a bit on what they may mean for the episode. And before I get into anything, spoiler warning if you want to go into Season 5 of The Flash completely blind and you don't want to know any of the titles of these episodes. But with that out of the way, let's continue. Episode 1 will simply just be called Nora, so it is pretty self-explanatory there. As we saw from the Comic-Con trailer, Nora will be a big part of the season, especially in the first episode. We will most likely get a lot of her backstory and figure out her big mistake and possibly some of the consequences as well. Also, if the rumors match up with set pictures, we may actually see Nora interacting with other versions of herself across the timeline, which could be pretty cool in this episode as well. Either way, very excited for this Nora-centric episode for the premiere of Season 5. Episode 2 will be called Blocked. This is one that is a bit less self-explanatory, but I believe this episode could have something to do with Nora being blocked from traveling back to her time, again because of what she did to the timeline. So that could be a possibility, but it definitely could be referring to something else. Next up, we have the title for Episode 3, and this is a big one. Episode 3 will be titled The Death of Vibe. Now, this is the big title that confirms a behind-the-scenes leak that we had from a while back where it looked like there was a newspaper article saying that Vibe had died. So most likely, this isn't our current present-day Cisco who is going to die, but possibly a consequence of Nora's meddling with the timeline. So Nora probably comes forward and admits that her messing with the timeline has caused the death of Vibe in the future, possibly at the hands of this season's big bad Cicada. Next up, we have Episode 4, which will be titled Newsflash. Now, from some leaks and casting announcements, I think this episode may be referring to a new character that is coming to the show to sort of be a rival or antagonist for Iris on the reporting journalism side of things. Now, the character that I'm referring to is one that I have absolutely no clue what their name is going to be on the show because the casting name and actual name usually are different, but I have seen the character description and it basically describes her as a social media influencer or basically a blogger or YouTuber or something. So this could be interesting to have sort of a villain for Iris, but supposedly this character is also going to be having a lot of interactions with Nora as well. But again, I could be completely wrong about this episode, and that character may have already been introduced or will be introduced later on at this point of the season. But either way, I'm kind of happy that Iris will finally be going back to her reporter roots this season and seemingly have a pretty interesting storyline. Moving on to Episode 5, it's going to be titled All Dolled Up. This episode will most likely be the introduction of the classic villain known as Ragdoll, which we actually got confirmation of this character coming to the show earlier on this week. And now, I don't know much about this character other than the fact that this is a pretty weird comic book character and they are actually a villain of the Jay Garrick Flash, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see how they portray this character on the show, but either way, very excited for a new classic villain coming to The Flash in Season 5. And now moving over to our final episode title, Episode 6 is titled The Icicle Cometh. And I think this is going to be the big Caitlin Snow Killer Frost episode where she may end up at least learning that her father Thomas is still alive and maybe even reunite with him. This episode could also give Caitlin and us the audience the true backstory of Killer Frost, as well as maybe finally help Caitlin unlock her Killer Frost persona once again. Either way, this is going to be a huge Caitlin episode where we may get some of the answers that we're looking for about her father and Killer Frost, so I am super excited to see how this all plays out. And that does it for the episode titles. These get me even more excited about what is to come in Season 5, so I want to know your thoughts on these down in the comments below. Which episode are you most excited for based on the title, and what do you think is going to happen in these first 6 episodes? I want to know your thoughts on all of this down in the comments below. But until next time, guys, it's been Tazz, and I'll see you guys in the next video.